I've listened to some critics of you, or sometimes you are overly aggressive, sometimes teetering on a little bit of a street fight or a type approach. And you're right. It makes it worse when you get a party in honeymoon. And I've always wondered how do you maneuver that, because the issue of aggression, people are accusing Tony Leon of what is uncultural. You don't just, I mean, it was worse that it was Mandela, but he was aggressive. You take on the issues. From a Botswana cultural perspective, you have a new baby and you just come hitting. I mean, is it something that you are sensitive to, even though you understand it, as you said?
Yes, it's something I'm alive to. I've received the feedback.
Yeah.
And not for me, basic aggression necessarily. Now, sometimes it's more passion. I mean, I've had a friend of mine who said, I need to do away with Munwana Horiana when I'm speaking.
Yeah.
To the viewer. So even if I consciously know that, okay, the feedback is and I'll look back and I'll see it. But I think all Botswana, there's a thin line here.
Yeah.
There's a thin line between condoning a new government just because it's new, even when it's incompetent, or it's betraying its pledges. I mean, take for example, you read the BDC manifesto. Barega Babate was specially elected BDP in. They had a formula in their manifesto, airing the 6 seats must be divided amongst the parties proportionate to the votes they got.
Okay.
That's what they said.
That's what the manifesto said.
Yes. They get into office, they repeat what the BDP did. Back when the cancelling, they're even worse. Not only do they take predominantly from their party, but Baba Okates. The culture of not being truthful in the BDP. You'll remember Reboko addressed the media and said, the deputy speaker will go to the opposition. After Otopia, the speaker, the following day, we come with the name of a deputy speaker who I believed was competent, a former judge, an experienced legislator. The UDC says, doesn't even see the need to explain. But to continue with the culture of untruthfulness. So there's a thin line between calling out in the interest of the public a government that is not delivering on its pledges and trying to just be the polite man who is close to being a praise singer for the ruling party. When you have an opposition party that is a praise singer for the ruling party, the day the ruling party collapses, there'll be no alternative.
Yeah.
And what does it mean for our democracy? I mean, even now, some people after elections were asking me, or why don't we also become part of the government? It's a little more positioning. Just behave like the
in South Africa with the GNU.
Normally the BPF joined the government. Then I said to them, if we join, we put literally all our eggs in one basket. If that basket crashes, what happens? There's only one opposition party, KBDP, with 4 seats.
With 4 seats, yeah.
Can they provide the oversight? Can they build an alternative? Democracy, a clear, strong alternative. And you can only be a clear, strong alternative if your differences are also pointed out in black and white. I can't pretend to worry because I lived with them in the opposition. All their mistakes I will condone. Even as they betray the pledges. Even as they badidimala ma 2.5 abana. And I represent a constituency of young people who have to travel from Mount to Gaborone to go to university. Some of them can't get accommodation on campus. With less than 2,500, they have to budget. They have to get accommodation. They didn't vote for my party. They batla e nang le di pledge tsa bogadi jo bo gaushi. But it's my duty, even though ba san tlhopha, gore ke ntshe lentswe la bone, to hold those in government accountable for the pledges they make. It's not an easy job. Sometimes you can come around as bitter.
Yeah.
Ba bang ba rialo ba a gora gore o bitter.
Ka o jela ke ditlhopho.
Ka o jela ke ditlhopho.
O ja mpile yanong, yes.
And now I've had that many times before. I was called bitter when Rekama started. Bona ba ne ba re bitter re ganetsa Rekama. Ha o ka ba utse ba bua ka ene gompieno, you'll be shocked. Ha re masisi a tsena re le ka go ntsha dio tsa bo banyana farms eng. No go twe hey a ko le se monno a buse monno o siame, he's God sent. If you had to call one out at the gompieno ba retsa, you'll be shocked. Oho ke hano. Whenever ba o mana gompieno ba re di gale ntse re bone yo siame, tata ba utse after 5 years.